You can see I've cut out the hole. This is going to be the top piece that's going to be completely flat. And I've joined the two together here. I used Gorilla Glue on this part. It seems pretty good to me for now. This is Geppetto. I cut out this one rail here, and then with that, kind of wrap this like this and bend it around. And I can also kind of see places that I need to make the joint a little better. And my wife helped me. If you look carefully, here, 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 she marked out spots so I can drill and then do the stitch and glue type technique. So I carefully bent this rail around like so. Then I took a tape measure and measured out to 10 feet over here, and measured from the end of this board out to where 10 feet would be, guessing this extra little bit, and it ended up being 29 inches. So I marked that on a different board and bumped up this to it. And then, if you can see right here, this is a little bit of the tail rocker that then continues onto the other board that I still need to cut out. So that's what I need to do. I'm going to go, here's those points, and then they will hopefully correspond well over here. And then I'll just sew that together there with, like, I think you're supposed to use wire, but I'll probably just use fishing line or something. So next I gotta drill those holes, cut out the remaining pieces, and try to get the rails on. I have these rails glued up, and I drilled holes along the edge here, and I took a compass and dragged it like this to give myself somewhat of a reference line to drill it. So I'm going to take these rails and tie them to that top piece. Hopefully that'll go pretty well. And then we'll start building there's Kyoko. I'll start building the structure inside. I might glue the joints first. We'll see. I finished getting this one rail on. I clamped one clamp here, another clamp to it to get this board to bend tightly around. And then here I ended up using twist ties and kind of stripping some of the paper off, as you can see right there. I had to lift it up on this board because of that clamp right there. And it was making it so it wasn't flat, and so that the rails were kind of not coming or not perpendicular to this part. Oh, this came off. But generally I went around, let's see, and loosely tried to get it vertical. See, so I put the tape to to try to get this to be a 90 degree, this to be a 90 degree angle. That tape there, down there. Then I ran a bead of glue. I'm not sure if it's the best glue, but I used, oh crud, it's coming out. This is what I meant. I used liquid nails. So we'll see how that goes. The thing is, I could do probably maybe a better job with, oh man, that popped off again. I could probably do a better job with epoxy and like fiberglass it and stuff, but I'm trying to balance cost versus, you know, strength and that sort of thing. So I already had that liquid nails, and that's why I just used twist ties instead of like buying wire. Yeah, that's all for now. I'll see you back whenever it's the next step. So as you can see, I'm working on the handle, carrying handle in the middle. This is 5 feet from either end. And since the board is about 30 inches wide, it makes it pretty heavy. I mean, kind of a pain to carry it without a handle in the middle. What I did was I took this piece of wood. This came from a deck that somebody didn't want anymore, and I just tried to salvage some of the wood, so this is pressure treated. I drilled holes and then chiseled it out and then sanded it with like a rotary sander. Then I glued this plywood to the back, and then now I'm going to glue it down right there. But what I did first to get this trace line, before this was on, I laid this down, traced the inside and outside. Then this piece here was in the middle, of course, and then since this is just laying on the floor, well, it's actually up on some foam, I didn't want to have to try to drill through here by getting this up and a place where I could put something to back it. So I took just a cheap knife, razor blade like this, and cut like this, just digging out material until I could kind of pry it up and break it off. I'll come back when this part's on. I'll come back later and sand it and clean it up. But I found that for this thin of plywood, a knife like this will do really well at cutting it. So I've misted it down. I'm using Gorilla Glue for this part, so I've misted it down. Since it'll be quite difficult to clamp this, I think probably nearly, I mean, I certainly don't have a clamp that could clamp this. I'm going to be doing what I've been doing for pretty much a lot of the rest of the glue jobs on this project, and just going to weigh it down with a water bottle. Okay, there's that. Oh, let me put the cap on. I like to try to put my cap on real quick after this so that no moisture gets down in here and makes that cure before I'm ready. This is my weight. An old cat litter container filled with water. Looks pretty good to me.